also kind of a veteran, despite like being a substitute player by
True.
now, or maybe no longer being substitute. I mean, we just wait and see how the split really involves for the side of Cerberus, and we shouldn't really disrespect Huber in that regard. But he's not 1 OP as you said, and gotta say about 1 OP. I mean, would you favor 1 OP over Taki in the current state of the league? I mean, Taki is what I would argue next to be like the best support of the VCS.
Yes. I think Taki's a little bit better than 1 OP. Not a huge amount, but a little bit better. As Froggy is being caught out here, and it's just going to take a little bit of damage. Cerberus won't go too deep on it. And to be honest, I think, when you look at Taki and
Look
you
top
look
lane.
at 1 OP, mainly Taki's just very good when it comes to roaming around the map.
Definitely. So, I mean, the unique asset of Taki is like that he can play literally anything, right? I mean, we have seen this
Yes.
playoff graphic we had before where he was like showing off his Silas support, his Camille support, and they actually all haven't been troll picks. Neither has been the Scion support as well. And it's not just them powering it up with a Kalista or a Senna to go for like these unique things. I mean, sometimes it has been, but it's just such a strong draft asset where you can just pick him anything and just Haspet gets a free counter pick, something he definitely would enjoy. However, in this draft, I mean, this couldn't really happen as them being on the blue side and having to play Sejuani into the gangplank. What I would have liked maybe would be that Hasmit gets the blind pick gangplank here because it's just such a hard pick to counter. Gotta say though, as the game now unfolds, we have seen no insane early game action at the level 1, which also something we shouldn't really expect here, as Renata cannot really do much.
So let's take a look then at the early game. What should we be expecting to see? Is this going to be a case of sleeper for both sides and just wait patiently and scale? Or is this a case of, hey, we've both got early game junglers in the Lee Sin and Xin Zhao. There are lanes that we need to be playing around.
I would expect both junglers to do a little bit around the bot lane because that's like where the best gank setup really is, with the Kench Abyssal Dive coming out, or with like Renata handshaking 2 people in, or maybe even Aphelios following up with the Gravitum Snare ability. On the other hand, you also have like the Sejuani gang potential coming out, but as we just now see, Yado already lost his flash, so mid lane, despite them having a Corki Azir lane, also seems to be quite the action lane right now.
Well, flash gone for Yada. So yesterday I was doing a bit of casting, and I had 2 Azir games. In both of the Azir games, I saw mid lane as being caught out by level 6 Empress Divide under a tower. So we'll see whether that happens for Froggy in this game, as Leash kind of just does a walkthrough of
Yeah.
Bean J's jungle and now makes his way up to the Scuttle Crab. Bean J's not going to look to contest this.
He isn't. He's looking for the blue buff instead, but that's something that Leash can now contest because it's very much happening in his vision right now, as he just now prepared, and also Pos is on the roam as well, and Giovanni's pushed into the turret, so this should be the blue buff for Cerberus. Good cheeky steal for them. But Binjay, he doesn't give it up, but he doesn't win it.
And now Bean J's in a very difficult scenario. Pos picks up first blood for Cerberus.
Pos picks up first blood for Cerberus, and that was very well played by them. I mean, him with the gangplank, getting the push early, being there earlier than the Sejuani to help his jungler out, and Binjay kind of not respecting that Leash had him wet like a book there with the ward
Yeah.
coming out, him going for the cheeky walk around, and then just contesting everything he tries to do there. Should have given up the blue buff maybe, but I also kind of see why he doesn't do it, because you don't really want to lose the buff as the Shinjao here, but that was a very good start by the side of Cerberus.
Now, Leash is going to make his way straight towards the bottom side Scuttle Crab, but I think Bean J is going to have that one cleared before Leash gets there. I think, so far, a very good start to Leash's debut in the VCS for Cerberus. Very impressive, actually.
It definitely is the case. Here we see in the bot lane another gank.
Handshake onto Artemis. No flash available. Not that I would have saved him anyway, and Bean J pulls 1 kill back for Saigon Buffalo.
Pulls 1 kill back, and also Senna being down to Summoner spells definitely shouldn't be in this position here. And it was kind of a good read by Binjay to be there in the right place. And considering the farm department, it's looking really good for the side of Saigon Buffalo. Of course, the farming time Kench struggles a little bit against the range champion that the Aphelios really is. And it's to some extent expected here. But them pulling up that much of a CS lead is definitely something that works in their favor. And yeah, Adam is kind of not respecting the gank. Very unfortunate for him. And the game looks still kind of fine for Cerberus, right? You have the theoretically infinitely scaling center lane, you have Azir in the mid lane, you have a Gangplank in the top lane. Here we see again what happened at the blue buff. Bean J, of course, kind of refusing to give up this blue buff. Still going
Oh,
for it, trying to get
19.
it. Wind becomes lightning. It was very close, to be fair, but him dying there is something that would have likely happened anyway. And now it's kind of a double loss for them with him losing the buff and also losing his life.
I'm just wondering, if BJ had got the smite and had secured blue buff, would that have meant that Leash couldn't smite the blue buff to get health back? Because that could have maybe impacted the fight.
Or maybe he would level up for a bit, and that was maybe his idea. Either way, a dive maybe about to happen against Hasmet.
And the cannon barrage means that Hasmed can't back away, and it's easy for Leash to set up Post to pick up another kill onto the Sejuani. 2-1 for Cerberus.
2-1 for Cerberus, and they really played the dive well with the cannon barrage stoning him off, as you just not said, and also getting both members low and Leash being there at the right place at the right time was also playing in the favor. Them also playing like the aggro game well with Post taking the first turret shot, using the remove scurvy to get the HP back, and then Leash can just walk in and just kick him in the face. Not literally because he doesn't have level 6 yet, but then just now getting the kill. Leash with a very good early game on the Lee Sin.
Yeah, Leash has been, I want to say everywhere, but he hasn't been everywhere. He's just been top lane a couple of times or top side of the map a couple of times. But both of the times he's tried to do something, he has found success. And that is incredibly important as Cerberus find themselves with a 1k goal lead. Now, we do have our first Drake of the game up on the map. It is a Cloud Drake. We'll have Rift Herald up in 1 minute as well. And currently, Leash making his way towards that bottom side.
Maybe he wants to go for one play on the bot lane before they will maybe move up to fight a potential Herald over there. And Leash so far has just now looked top lane, fighting together with his Korean co-worker and looking for something more. On the other hand, we see that the game's kind of maybe slowing down a little bit with BJ going for his red buff and the scuttles being secured by Leash. I mean, of course, with Smite taking away the shield, that goes down pretty quickly and the game maybe stabilizing for them. Will he start the Cloud Drake right away? I really wouldn't advise in favor of that. As the bot lane priority is still pretty hard. I mean, Senna is a strong champion, we know, also very high range, but in the early game against Aphelios Renata, it's not quite easy to Tahm Kench to find good value because it's Tahm Kench to double range, not that easy, only really works in all-in situations.
And Poss in the top lane is having a whole bunch of fun, a barrel of fun, one could say. BJ hasn't really looked towards this top side yet, which feels somewhat surprising to me because I am getting that feeling that this gangplank might start snowballing out of control.
Definitely looks to be the case, but I mean, he's 2 kills ahead, he's a full wave ahead. He also got at least 1 turret plating, as I see on the mini-map, so he definitely is on his way to get a lot of gold, and I also look forward to see his item build. It looks like a Triforce first for him. Like, there have been quite some item builds. As Yado's getting ganked.
Oh, and there is the ult on the tower. BJ forced to flash away. Will the Sonic Wave land? Well, BJ, a knockback Sonic Wave. Good sidestep from BJ. No kill in the mid lane, just a flash burnt from both junglers.
Flashes burn from both junglers. And there is what you teased us about earlier with the Emperor's
Yeah,
Command to the
actually
turret.
happened.
But it didn't happen to Frog. It actually happened to BJ. And BJ is a little bit tankier, so it was kind of a luck out of a bad situation for the side of Saigon Buffalo, with BJ being able to survive that, and also good sidestep on the Sonic Wave, as you said. And with that Sonic Wave hitting, it would have been a kill for the side of Leash for sure.
What I didn't get is I felt like Leash almost got kicked backwards, but he's on the Lee side. So I want to get a replay of that because I was kind of confused as to... Crescent Guard, there we go. I knew there was something that did a knockback. Now, Rift Herald has been started. We've got a 3v4. Well, it's a 5v5 because everyone is here. And Leash just gets popped instantly, but the Dawning Shadow does so much work onto the health bars of Saigon Buffalo. Shogun, Harsmed, low. Huber diving in with the Abyssal dive, but Saigon Buffalo want to take the fight. Poss diving in, looking for BJ. However, might be kept alive by the bailout, but will not. As the last embrace lands onto Harsmed. Yado looking for the kill, but can't get onto Harsmed. The Devour onto Froggy, and Froggy will fall. Cerberus get 2 for 1.
Cerberus get 2 for 1, they lose the Herald though. The fight was very, very close, really neatly played by them, with using the invisibility of the Sena's Curse of the Black Mist, and also going with some Abyssal Dive outside of Huber to really get the zoning going on. They kind of didn't walk just past Foy because they know while he can free hit, he's just a poke corky that is still trying to scale and not really a threat at the moment, and they kind of abused that fact and played well around the aggression of Saigon Buffalo. 2 for 1 for them, giving away the Herald. At the end of the day, a close call, I would say, but with them getting the Drake as well, I think Cerberus is very much fine with it, especially considering that Poss on the Gangplank got another kill and is now already on the Triforce. We are 10 minutes into the game and he's already on this mythic item.
And that fight was so close. And here we get a replay of this. Leash just gets popped instantly.
Yeah, Leash gets bought instantly. He tries to go for the Herald's secure and also the hostile takeover, trying to buy little time. Here we see Huber playing very far forward with the flash tongue lash, also going with a bit of dive in. And here we see over and over again how they use like the zoning of the soldiers. And also here, Curse of the Black Mist by Artemis to make it hard for the side of champions like Froggy to really fire damage off. Also Shogun on the failure struggling to really find an impact here. And with that, even being down a man, they kind of were virtually in an advantageous position here. But that cannot be said about Pos.
Pos finally targeted in the top lane, and no amount of root remove scurvy will save him. We've got a package in the mid lane as Froggy goes on to Yardo. Empress Divide almost stops the Valkyrie.
Yeah, kind of a little bit late over there, or just Froggy really reacting in time. And Pos giving the shutdown over to Sejuani is, of course, something he didn't want to do. Sejuani has been struggling out this whole game, I would say, and maybe she, despite getting the kill, won't really find the impact she really hoped to have initially. But her getting a little bit of a spike back is definitely something that plays in her favor. Also, her going for the Frozen Hard Wash, a very cost-efficient item to really nullify anything Gangplank at least Sin can do, or maybe even Senna can do to some extent, because it's just that efficient against the physical damage. Gotta say though, Yados and his Azir will not care about that one little bit in the later stage of the game.
Cannon Barrage is going to be available momentarily. The Glacial Prison does not land. The kick straight onto Harsmed, and now the ball left with nowhere to go. They could give this kill over to Pos, but Pos says, Leash, you're giving me a couple of kills. I'll hand one back over to you, buddy.
Boss is more interested in getting the farm going and getting another turret plate over there. I mean,
True.
that's the same amount of gold basically. So why not just give Leash the kill? I mean, he worked hard for it. Gotta say, Leash has a fantastic early game, I would say overall. His only death was where he went like for the Herald flip, and that's something. I mean, that can just happen. If it goes a little bit better, he would be the hero of Cerberus and really secure the Herald, giving his life over for it. And just now, he kind of looked like a clown in that small Herald fight, but other than that, he has a very clean game.
To be fair, he did die, but he forced Saigon Buffalo to use so much on him that Cerberus were able to win the 4v5. So I don't feel like it was terribly end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that was his worst play of the game. Like all the other plays look very, very good for him. He definitely has a good read on what BJ has been doing in the early game. And look just how fat he got his top lane over there. I mean, that's something that Ego and Fuquan didn't really do in the spring split so much, where they really were playing on the top side of Cerberus, which is a rare side in general. But for Leash so far, it has been working out brilliantly.
And this might be first tower of the game going the way of Saigon Buffalo. Poss has already picked up loads of tower plates in the top lane, but he's going to have to step back and allow this tower to fall as the plates go into the hands of Shogun and BJ.
And that's exactly where you want the money to
Shogun?
be. I mean,
what was that Gale Force? Did he just Gale Force the cannon and miss it?
I think maybe he Gale Force to get the cannon and just slightly missed it on the damage department. Very unfortunate for him. Cannon Barrage used to deny a second Herald charge. Very good use from Pos here to not be greedy with the ultimate usage. It's a high cooldown, but I mean denying a Herald charge definitely worth it in the total. And in the bot lane we see parallelly to what happened top lane. Also the bot lane from Cerberus taking a turret, so they are quite firmly ahead in gold right now, with them being almost 3k ahead, and also their scaling working brilliantly, right? I mean, it's Umbreglaive Senna, it's Frostfire Gauntlet Tam Kench. They definitely are happy with how the game progressed so far, and them not really being down in CS so much is definitely something that plays in their favor. Mid lane and top lane also working out greatly, and SGB kind of caught with their pants down in the early game overall.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about build paths, because I've been seeing a fair bit of Gangplank top lately, and all of them have been going Triforce into Collector, especially when they get ahead. But looking at the comp of Saigon Buffalo, I feel like Collector may not be the best choice.
I mean, you kind of focus the Corki and the affiliates anyway, so I don't think the Collector would be any bad in this situation. What I really like to see is maybe like going this build of the 1,000 crit cloaks, where you really get a lot of crit chance early and then just complete them one by one to get the Infinity Edge, to get the other crit items. That's maybe the way he should go. But it's very slot inefficient, so it's also kind of risky to a certain degree. What I expect, of course, in the VCS is that he just goes for the Collector as a total item, because it's just slot efficient in that regard. And if you are snowballing, why not? You can still go that item. And I think it could be something that he chooses to do.
A bit aggressive from B&J. Audaciously charging on to Huber. but no real follow-up from either Saigon Buffalo or Cerberus. We do have a Drake up now. It would be the second Drake of the game for Cerberus if they were to take it, and then we will be finding out what Soul or what what Drake Rift we will be getting, and Cerberus are going to take this one uncontested.
Yeah, not really being contested. The vision and also the map pressure coming out for the side of Cerberus was definitely playing their favors. And we see in the overlay it looks kind of buggy. That means to me it must be Hextech. And yeah, it is indeed Hextech.
Yeah.
We get the funny gates on the map, which is also something I really look forward to see. That maybe some flank plays with Lee Sin and Tam Kench are possible with that being on their way. And now, of course, Cerberus still in very firm control. And I really wonder what really will be the next move from Saigon Buffalo, because there's not really that much to give them an opening. I think they kind of just have to hope that the Corki will farm up and land some very good big rockets to really nullify what Cerberus can do. But even if he does that, I mean, the Senna can still heal up the lineup of Cerberus. So unless they get like a pick into Artemis and then the big rockets hit, it looks pretty doomed for Saigon Buffalo this game.
Well, they are 3k goal behind it still. That being said, both teams do scale, but when you look at Cerberus and you see a Gangplank, you see an Azir, you see a Senna, you do have to think that scaling's just a little bit more on the side of Cerberus.
Yeah, and we see the collector components already by the side of the Gangplank from Paz. In the mid lane, however, a little bit of a poke war. Foggy's very far forward.
Yado just sitting just over the wall, hoping that Saigon Buffalo get greedy and try to take a fight, thinking that the Azir is not there. And now he's just standing on a ward, but he is unaware of that. The sneaky but not sneaky Azir plays.
Yeah, no, not sneaky enough. Really being caught in the water. So Saigon Buffalo knows we can't step a little bit more forward there. They tried as hard as they could with like Foggy stepping up and going for the poke, but if him getting like hit by one piercing darkness meant that he has to step away again, and Saigon Buffalo now maybe trying to move towards the bot lane and getting their first chips of turret damage over there. And here we see the overall gold with Phalos being quite decently ahead of the center, but it is a fasting center, so it of course cannot really be quantified that easily in the gold department. In the mid lane being quite even, but the top lane is really like where the problems start to be really visible at the Gangplank, really pulls out of the situation. And the thing is, even on even gold, you would favor the Gangplank by now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gangplank scales so well, especially once they get a couple of items going. Well, mainly when they get Infinity Edge, they just become disgusting. Unlucky Huber. You know what? Credit to Shogun there for not reacting to that and just standing still and saying, go on, Huber, if you think you're going to hit me, go for it.
Exactly right. And I also really want to see how many souls the Senna has really farmed so far. And that's something that, of course, really determines on which range effectively Cerberus is really playing. I mean, the longer the game goes, the easier it will become for them.
So how many do you think Senna is on currently then?
Like 80 or something.
Okay.
I'm really hard at estimating stuff because I really don't play bot lane that much. But I think
Yul Wei?
Yeah. Where Yul Wei? We have a Senna, right? Where are the 100,000 chat messages from Yul Wei?
Usually he's on Twitch chat. On the VCS English account, as Hubert gets engaged on, flashes away from the Moonlight Vigil. The focus turns onto BJ, but Crescent Guard will keep him alive. Yado teleporting in, and he finds a 3-man Shurima shuffle. Focus turns onto Shogun, and down goes the ADC for Saigon Buffalo. Froggy over the wall, Poss will follow, and another 4. So for the Buffaloes, it's 4-0 for Cerberus.
I think it's a quarter kill coming up by the side of Leash, but Yado was really the one doing all the work there. And Yado maybe heard us talking bullcrap beforehand, and that was a very sick Azir flank, of course, coming off him. The TP into the flash Shurima shuffle to get them all gobbled up. The bailout from Taki couldn't bail out anyone over there, and this usually would be a Baron angle, but it kind of is because Baron is not even spawning yet. So they will maybe just go for some turret pressure. And Cerberus getting very excited in that fight and just really grabbing them where they could. And that corridor really not helping SGB either, with Yado finding that insane flank on Azir.
Now, I just want to say, as a neutral, this game is very positive. I'll go on to that later because here's a replay of how this fight all broke out.
It broke out because they were trying to get Huber really with the engage here, but you see how tanky Huber already is. It is a farming time Kenji in the bot lane, really hard to bring down. Here you see Yada, I mean, beautiful Emperor's Divide coming out. Also, Huber is confident in going back in because he's just that tanky, and also Artemis can heal him back up a few times. Also, Triumph really working out wonders. And this Lee Sin getting the quarter kill, this Lee Sin
Oh
also
yeah.
a very good early game. He had the resources to really like punch everyone quite heftily in the face, and that's kind of what he did over there. And so much disruption in that skirmish with Lee Sin is still very strong, especially in the mid game if he had a good early game. And here we saw how that really ended up. BJ also kind of his engage blew off with trying to kill Huber, and the whole team of Saigon Buffalo trying to do that, but Huber was just too tanky. He wasn't having any of that.
Also, poor Yado, no kills on the Azir. 006. It truly is a support life for Cerberus. But I want to go back to the point that I was trying to make about why this game is so positive if you are a neutral fan of the VCS. Because coming into this split, I feel like we had three teams with a lot of question marks around them. I think we had Team Wales with Killer Queen. Would he be performing well? We have Cerberus as well. And then we had the return of Dire 1 for SBTC. And so far, and I really hope this isn't a jinx, but so far, all of those coin flip teams are coin flipping very well. And I think that's very positive for what we can see in the VCS because in our podcast before the split started, we thought GAN would be at the top and then we'd have maybe a four-way battle for second. I think now we well and truly have like a 5-6-way battle for first in the VCS.
It's definitely so exciting, especially like if you're a new viewer or if you're a viewer who only knows like VCS from like the rare appearances of MSI or Worlds, which he have been kind of lacking in the recent times. I mean, most people know like Garm from the earlier days and knows like in Buffalo from like this MSI and from the G2 memes, but we have like Garm going down 2-0 against SPTC yesterday. Maybe we have Saigon Buffalo also losing their first series, and that's just beautiful, right? You potentially have like, as you just said, really a huge pack of teams really fighting for the top spots. And if you are called a one-team region so often, you kind of get annoyed by that. And that not being the case would be very relieving for the whole VCS.
And it does seem that the VCS as a whole is stepping up. Both teams stepping up to contest Baron Vision, but it seems that no team really wants to try to rush it down. Yado on that Azir doesn't have any kills. If he did, if he had a bit more gold, Azir just shreds through Baron.
He does. He also maybe does with that item build, by the way. It's a double burn item build coming up with him being like on the Lianvis plus Demonic, which makes him surprisingly tanky for an Azir as well, where you can also like get at least like a bit of an HP extra, where you can just feel confident to really go for the engaged plays like he did earlier. And if the fight goes on longer, he doesn't really want to carry or something or chunk them out by 50% HP with a single conquering stance. But what he does is really doing sustained damage over the team fight. He just needs to chip them once and they start burning with the Liandry's Demonic burn. And that stuff really hurts. And it's also something that really burns off high HP targets, which would be the Sejuani, which would be the Xinjiao to some extent as well. And also the Baron, if they happen to really bait out the Baron fight. Yado, even without getting kills, can do that with two items.
So I did see how many stacks of mist Artemis had. And he's
Okay.
picked up two more. Do you want to hazard a guess?
Right now, 100?
96. It
I
might be
think that was a pretty
97.
good guess.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty much there. Artemis is pretty much at 100 now as well, which is when Senna really starts to get online. Or is it 80 when Senna starts to become a bit disgusting?
I'm not your way, but I guess the confusion is something that could happen with German color casters being around here. But here we see something very beautiful. The vision setup is really strong by the side of Cerberus. They also snuck around the Scarlet Vision and are just now on the Baron with Saigon Buffalo really not sneezing it even out in a little bit. I mean, just Yado hitting the soldiers over the wall, and it's just a free Baron for them. Like, no contest. They didn't really have to do much aside from placing a few control wards, costing them a few hundred gold. And there was like a zero risk play coming from Cerberus. I really like to see more of it.
And Cerberus are playing this game so well. There were a couple of mistakes in the early stage of the game. Maybe, Post getting caught out that one time, that gank to Artemis and Huber. But aside from that, Cerberus have looked dominant. They've looked in complete control of this game. And now they just have to close it out. They have Hextech Soul in just over a minute's time. And once they've got Hextech Soul, they can probably just look to end the game or wait for Elder.
And they are very aware of the control position as they just know use multiple TPs in the mid lane, not even to go for a flank, but just go to for some map presence basically, and just use the Baron buff. They also have like the Shurima's Legacy passive going down, which means they can also place a turret on their own to get even more safety on their team, and this will be a very brutal siege. I would expect Saigon Buffalo to drop at least this turret, maybe even more, and not even going for a fight before. And if they go for a fight, it must be like a perfect engage angle for them. But, I mean, even on almost even gold, they were losing these fights, and now Cerberus the Baron has all these drakes, has such a big lead. It's very hard to fight for the side of SGB, and what I would expect of them is really like to drop the few turrets here and maybe have a last stand at the Soul or even later at the Elder, because they might just have to give the Soul away.
The cannon barrage was used by POS as Cerberus secured that inner tower. So it is one ultimate down, but we know how big Leash can be with that insect play. We've seen Yado with those Shurima shuffles. I say those Shurima shuffles. We've seen one, and now POS on the side. Hazmed going for a flank, but Leash and Cerberus are going to turn towards the ball. Hazmed runs his way out. Saigon Buffalo on the bottom side of this fight. Keep an eye on Leash. He's going to be looking to come in behind with a ward hop. Goes in behind. Froggy kicked. Dawning Shadow drop down. Moonlight Vigil onto 3 members, but it doesn't matter. Cerberus are just so far ahead. A Froggy will go gold, but Yado will claim the kill pretty much instantly. Yado flashing in, looks for Shogun, doesn't have a stopwatch, and will fall. BJ could be the focus, but Cerberus are looking towards Taki and Shogun. They've already got 3 kills. They've only lost 1 member. Can Cerberus get more? The last embrace won't land onto Taki, and Cerberus will take their winnings and turn towards the Hextech Soul.
This will definitely be the Hextech Soul claimed by the side of Cerberus. I really didn't understand what Asper tried to do with using the Hextech Gate as a flank option. Also, not really lucky for him that he also missed his Glacial Prism, so the field goal was coming out of him. And the big CC AoE damage ultimate not really hitting by the side of Saigon Buffalo, and with that missing, it was an easier way in for the side of Leash to get a good kick. He also kicked in the Tejuani, which isn't really the ideal target, but he was happy to kill her either way. And Yado also going for another flank play. Here we see again how it really played out. Hasmit going for the blast bomb right now and missing his ultimate. Kind of unfortunate to do. And here, Leash. Ward jump kick. Gets Hasmet in, the front line dies. Hostile takeover dealing a surprisingly high amount of damage because, of course, the members are quite fat and quite auto-attack heavy on the side of Cerberus. And them chasing into the Severum Aphelios was making it kind of hard because Shogun, despite being behind, can still heal up a decent bit on this position. And it was a 3-for-1 for them. And also getting the Soul. Not the ideal fight for Cerberus considering how far ahead they really were. But still, something they are very happy to take, because this Hextech Soul will just cement themselves as a team that will be leading in the damage department for the whole game. And also denying Hextech Soul for Corki is, of course, very insane, because Corki could do so much with it. But gotta be honest, Saigon Buffalo was very far away from getting any Drake either way.
Now, one positive for Saigon Buffalo is it does mean that Elder will be coming earlier, which means that they could coin flip and turn the game. Because I think if Elder came later, there's a chance that Cerberus are just snowballing.
Wow!
Oh my god. Taki and Froggy get blown up completely. The cannon barrage forces Saigon Buffalo to retreat under the safety of their inhibitor tower, the relative safety of their inhibitor tower. But there are no more minions left, and Cerberus will have to back away.
They will have to back away. We'll play likely around the next Baron, and as you just said, putting Elder on the map puts a slight risk to it, but I think there really won't be any play on the Elder. Gotta say, it is maybe a small chance for Saigon Buffalo to rush it down, as the Elder is not that tanky, but with Baron being up beforehand, this Baron will just go to the side of Cerberus. I think there will be very low chance to contest it on the side of Saigon Buffalo, and with them having Baron and Hextech Soul, they can also secure the priority in all 3 lanes. And it could go towards a situation where maybe Saigon Buffalo gets the Elder but trades it for the Nexus, and that is something that Cerberus would also be happy with.
An 11k goal lead for Cerberus. We were joking about the prediction game earlier. I should have stuck with my guns and gone with the Cerberus 2-1 of Saigon Buffalo.
But I'm so happy to be wrong, I was very confident
that
Saigon Buffalo coming away from MSI, Cerberus really struggling to get an identity last split, and them having a new jungler this time. And also, like half an hour ago, I didn't know which top laner they're really going to play, and it was yes, easy 2-0 for the side of Saigon Buffalo. But I'm so happy to be wrong, because it just means that we have strong teams in the VCS and a closer fight for the top spots.
We didn't know which top laner would be playing, and fair enough, Huber. And we didn't know that it'd be Huber and Leash playing, and I think both Huber and Leash have played really well, Leash in particular. But I think Huber has stepped up, and Huber has looked very, very solid on the Tahm Kench this game.
Yeah, I gotta admit, if I knew before that Huber is playing, I wouldn't be more confident, but also actually less confident that Cerberus would win. Huber is just really surprising us this game in a positive way that he's playing so well as just not that. 1 OP, I mean, we addressed it, right? I mean, he's no B, he's no Taki, but he's still a good support. And Huber just now being in his place and just really showing up and showing that he deserves to play games against the top teams as well. And yeah, he definitely has a good game so far.
I think I've just figured out what the issue for Saigon Buffalo is. It's Shogun playing. It's not Saigon Buffalo Shogun. It's just Shogun.
Yeah, he's not really playing for them. Maybe he's just playing for the LJL again.
Hubert,
He's
though,
Artemis.
is going to devour Artemis, keeps the Senna alive. Hostile takeover will do a fair bit of work, but Cerberus will just turn their attentions back towards the Baron, and Saigon Buffalo are forced to head to the mid lane. They could look to maybe get an outer tower, but they can't do anything more than that.
I actually think they could. I think this just now was maybe the point to strike and go for like more corky rockets. Foggy really has a ton of them, and there was like poke trade from both sides. Now they maybe just get flanked themselves with a Baron up, Hextech, Soul, Cerberus.
Oh my god, the railgun is massive. Shogun on the run, but Yada will get the kill. Just ults for the kill in the end. That is one of the most disrespectful air kills I have ever seen. But Cerberus get 3 for nothing.
Yada
and that's going to be game.
Yeah, Yano getting his frustration up, right? He really wanted to get 1 kill this game. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, that's enough. I just ult for the kill. I mean, who are you anyway? Just the 200 HP AD carry. Just gotta get the kill. And yeah, Saigon Buffalo, this game not really showing up. Really clean early game by Leash. The whole team was stepping up. But Froggy has something against it. Maybe the game is not over.
I think it is probably over. Froggy would have to pull off an absolute miracle. I appreciate you trying to find a way for Saigon Buffalo to get back in. BJ, okay, you know what? Credit to BJ for that play onto pass. But Cerberus are back. Your win to